GameStonk. Yes, you heard that right. It's right there from Elon Musk. And I've got to tell you, there's no story that's currently going around right now that is any bigger than this because it is affecting literally everybody, okay? And it's great. It makes me just laugh just trying to explain it. And I am by no means a financial advisor, anybody who really knows what the fuck is going on with the stock market in general, but I definitely know a funny story when I see it, and that's this right now, okay? The fact that it's made it up all the way to Elon Musk, it's tremendous. It's really tremendous. So here's a little bit of the background, okay? GameStop, the brick and mortar video game retailer, has seen better days. At its peak, the retailer enjoyed massive growth and was the number one outlet for consumers purchasing game hardware and video games. That's why I think that it was probably targeted. And the reason that all of this is happening right now is because, okay, as you can see here, yeah, their company stock remained below $5 per share until recent days. To be honest, everybody just gave up on GameStop. They kept changing their business model. They started moving away from video games, and everybody just kind of generally hated what the fuck they were doing. So that dropped the share prices through the fucking floor. And then he had the hedge funds, and this is who the guys perpetrating all of this stuff right now were going after because they were shorting the GameStop stock. And if I understand this correctly, when you short a stock, you anticipate it to continue to go lower than it currently is, and they make money based on that. I think that's a general explanation of it, and it's relatively accurate for the sake of this. Now, it's pretty obvious, and GameStop has been floundering and hasn't really hopped above $5 per share for well over a year now, and their prospects are lower than ever because there's nothing really they can do about it. Everything's moving to a digital model, and you can pretty much buy consoles anywhere, and everybody's always hated their business practices in general when it comes to used games. So with all that said, it made for a perfect target in order to just artificially or just completely raise the price of the stock, okay? For them to come in for an entire group of people, we'll get to that group of people very shortly, come in, swoop in, buy all of the stock they can, and as you see here, it soared by 8,000%. 8,000. It's a tremendous story. When they just buy it up out of nowhere, and depending on which sources you look at, and I couldn't really find anything, AMC, the theater, which plummeted through the floor, it's seeing a similar type of resurgence, because it had shorts against it as well because, well, when everything locked down with the COVID pandemic, it was one of those businesses that was looking to be completely on the outs, and along with Nokia stock as well, because all of these things are very, very, very memeable. Okay, old Nokia phones have been memes for as long as memes have memed, and GameStop is just the perfect target because it is a constant source of headaches for anybody who is a game enthusiast, and especially for the online community that is perpetrating this entire thing. But let's get through the background here. Business Insider reports that between January 20th and 26th, GameStop's stock value leaped from just over $35 per share to north of $140 per share from the 20th until the 26th, and by January 27th, today, it hit new highs of over $325 per share. The shares rose 157% before the market opened on Wednesday, meaning that the retailer's market value has risen more than 20 times this month and is around $26 billion, larger than more than a third of the companies listed on the S&P 500 stock market index. This is just... I didn't think I'd get a bigger laugh than seeing Donald Trump set up the office of the former president, but this story right here is so fucking glorious. It is the greatest thing to happen because they're doing this through absolutely 100% legal means, and everybody's losing their fucking minds in the stock market world. Okay? A lot of people are seeing that, yeah, okay, this is just how shit works, and you're just going to have to run with the ebbs and flows of it. And right now, there is a very obvious exploitable hole, and you get enough people together, and they can really fuck some shit up. GameStop's market value has little to do with the future prospects as a retailer or even the video game industry. Instead, yeah, its stock surged in price because of the efforts of a Reddit community called r/WallStreetBets. And yeah, I would rather listen to a political dissertation from anybody on Reddit than actually use it. But dude, this is the most genius thing going on right now. Okay? And they're 100% making this organically happen, and there are thousands and thousands of posts on here of people just skyrocketing all of their investments. And right now it just kind of seems like a bipartisan fuck you to the evils of Wall Street. And I really, really love it. Now, it's all fairly obvious what they're trying to do, okay? They're trying to fuck shit up, and it's a way more effective than anything that happened in 2013 with Occupy Wall Street, or 2011. And like I said before, they're doing it through completely legal means, and there's nothing anybody can do about it without circumventing the current laws that are on the books. And that's what they're doing, okay? Because here's the official message. Where do we go from here? Because, okay, they had their other official channel, their Discord page, taken down because terms of service. Yeah, exactly. Because here's the official statement of that. The server has been on our trust and safety team's radar for some time due to occasional content that violates our community guidelines. You could say that about any degenerate Discord channel, including hate speech, glorifying violence, and spreading misinformation. Ugh. Over the past few months, we have issued multiple warnings to their server admin. Today, we decided to remove the server and its owner from Discord for continuing to allow hateful and discriminatory content after repeated warnings. I bet they were hateful and discriminatory. I bet. To be clear, we did not ban the server due to financial fraud, because there wasn't any, related to GameStop or other stonks. Discord welcomes a broad variety of I don't need to read the rest of that. It was a coordinated attempt to make sure Wall Street rebounds from this absolute collapse that they're going through right now. And I couldn't be happier. But yeah, here's the official mod page, I suppose, because they've had to put their Reddit on private because there's a bunch of people coming, or their subreddit on private rather, because there are people coming in here that may or may not be associated with certain hedge funds that are currently taking a shit kicking due to their actions here that are trying to get them to diversify their attacks. But no, they're focused 100% on raising GameStop stock prices absolutely to the moon. We have grown to the kind of size we only dreamed of, and it only takes a place to get a bad night's sleep. We've got so many comments and submissions that we can't possibly read them all, and let alone act on them as moderators. We wrote software to do most of the moderation for us, but the software isn't allowed to read Reddit's news feed fast enough to submit responses, and the admins have given us special access despite asking for it. Oh, they haven't, obviously. We're suffering from the success, and our Discord was the first casualty. You know as well as I do that you gather 250,000 people in one spot. Someone is going to say something that makes you look bad. Exactly, this is what's going on right now. That room was golden, and the people that run it are awesome. We blocked all bad rules with a bot, which should be enough, but apparently if someone can say a bad word with a weird Unicode Icelandic characters and someone can screenshot it and you don't get to hang out with your friends anymore. Discord did us dirty, and I'm not impressed with them destroying our community. Instead of stepping in the wrench we may have needed to fix things, especially we get over 1,000 server boosts. That's pretty unethical. This is exactly what happens whenever a group of people come together and try to legitimately fuck shit up. Because if you're organizing like Antifa does, oh fuck, you can just plain out in the open. But if you try to do something that disrupts the establishment, oh, they'll find ways of fucking you over. To add to this, people are co-opting our name on Twitter. I won't mention their accounts, but lots of handles with WSB, WallStreetBets, and WallStreetBets itself in them are pretending to speak for us, and they're saying things that we don't agree with, driving traffic to derivative communities and shitty pixelated merch stores, and generally making it harder for us to define who we are. Yeah, I did a little bit of research prior to this because this entire story is so fucking fascinating, and oh yeah, people are trying to capitalize on this. They screenshotted that Elon Musk tweet that I showed you that we began the video with. Yeah, and they're putting it on hats and coffee cups because grifters gonna grift, I suppose. There's also too much political bullshit in the community that was never, ever political. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. These are guys that are just trying to fuck shit up. But you're gonna, I think you guys already know the headlines that are going to be coming out. This is a far right-wing conspiracy tank, and oh, this is a white supremacy at work because you see the icon of the guy in the WallStreetBets. Oh, it's not a person of color, and you know how many POCs lost their investments because that hedge fund was taken down? No, exactly, and that's why an official mod posted this, and I didn't know anything about this subreddit beforehand, but I am so glad that they're being successful in this right now. The only way I want to occupy Wall Street is in a suit myself or rent-free in the mind of a blown-up short. Yay. That is why I'm throwing my support behind the Twitter handle in general. We need a way to publicly reach out to the staff of the infrastructure that is failing us so the world can see what we are doing, that we aren't doing anything wrong here. If they don't respond, we need to be able to respond directly to a reporter that is lying to the world about our clubhouse. Exactly. We can't be expected to meet any expectations when we aren't given the tools needed. That's not to say I approve of every message or will ever be in the loop on for all of them, but it is clear to me that you can't do nothing and we need a megaphone. Exactly. And that's why I hope people like me and other independent content creators cover this story correctly, because these are just people, like I've said before, they're just trying to cause a ruckus, and they are wildly successful. And then lead it to Wall Street, who has been capitalizing on tactics like this for a very long time. That's why the entire shorts market came up, because, okay, if you can sacrifice one business and bet all your money on their shorts there, you can go ahead and inflate your hedge funds. Okay, insider trading. You remember hearing everybody implicated in insider trading. You know what? Even those two stingy Republicans that got defeated in Georgia there, they were trading stock based on information that they heard prior to the coronavirus. So that came out shortly after their defeat. Martha Stewart, if I'm to drag up a fossil from a time long past, what was she in jail for? A couple months? No, as soon as a bunch of, self-described autists in one subreddit decide to fuck a whole bunch of shit up, Vanguard, TD Ameritrade, and Charles Schwab closed down to doing any business with GameStop, Nokia, and AMC earlier today. Some users are reporting issues with online trading platforms Vanguard, TD Ameritrade, and Charles Schwab. There were over 2,700 reports on Down Detector Wednesday morning of users experiencing problems with Vanguard. More than 15,000 users reported problems with TD Ameritrade around 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and Charles Schwab's trading platform saw 2,700 user complaints. Charles Schwab did not immediately respond to Insider's request for a comment. In an email to Insider, TD Ameritrade confirms that some of its clients are experiencing slowness or difficulty accessing their accounts on a mobile platform due to heavy volumes. The company has since told Insider in a follow-up email that the issue has been resolved. It's interesting why there would be heavy volumes, because everybody that's on here, I've still got the subreddit pulled up, and everything on here is, nobody's making any more moves, okay? You've seen what the stock prices were. They're like $300. People are not going to be going in there, okay? It's only going up, and I wouldn't anticipate that there's any heavier than normal volumes. This is clearly a consolidated attempt by these three large stock trading giants of freezing people out. This is clear cartel type business, just like what we seen with big tech. Now big business is hopping in on that bandwagon, and because it's incredibly hard to prove cartel type behavior or a whole bunch of collusion behind the scene, they'll be able to do this and incite a response from the government, which is exactly what they did. White House is monitoring GameStop. A market short squeeze. Following several days of significant short squeezes of the stocks such as GameStop, AMC Entertainment, BlackBerry, and others, the White House is looking into the situation. Kind of, sort of, not based on what Jen Psaki had to say, but we'll cover this. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the administration and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen are both monitoring the situation. The stock market isn't the only measure of the health of our economy, she stated in the press briefing, adding it doesn't reflect how working or middle-class families are doing. Ask them about their 401ks. They are directly linked to the health and wellness of the stock market, but I wouldn't expect her to be able to properly articulate that, let alone look at these hedge funds that also have a bunch of pension funds in them as well that contribute to them. So you know what? Yeah, I think the stock market has a significant amount of interest in it. And I'm not, like I said before, I don't know all the intricacies of the stock market, but it goes into a bunch of people's livelihoods. Here's where it gets fucking bonkers. Psaki started off her answer by mentioning that Yellen is the first female Treasury Secretary. What? Why does that matter? He was responding to the question from the White House Reporter Exchange whether it has had conversations with the Secretary and Exchange Commission about the short squeeze initiative, which appears to be spreading via the subreddit, WallStreetBets, Twitter, and 4chan. Oh my God, not the hacker 4chan, according to Reuters. Detail traders scored against professionals on Wednesday as hedge funds Citron and Melvin. Oh yeah, Melvin's the one that's been taking a huge shit kicking because they had all of their short bets against against GameStop, and they're gonna have to file for bankruptcy. It was a $12 billion hedge fund, and they have lost over, I think, $6 billion at this point, and they got an influx of $2.3 billion worth of money that immediately just went into the fucking ether. This is hilarious. With heavy losses on the short position in GameStop in a week-long battle between Wall Street and Main Street. Ugh. With the calling for scrutiny of anonymous stock trading posts on social media. Why? They're just taking advantage of all of the tactics that billionaires have used to game the markets for decades. Meanwhile, TD Ameritrade and customers that the firm is blocking some trades for... TD Ameritrade told customers that the firm is blocking some trades for AMC, GameStop, and certain scrutinies. I don't know how much more information you guys need in order to draw to the conclusion that there is cartel-like behavior going on here. I'd imagine tomorrow we're going to see the other ones, Charles Schwab, and the other online firms just blocking trades on this and trying to normalize the markets due to troll-like behavior from the far right. I anticipate those very shortly. We made these decisions out of an abundance of caution amid unprecedented market conditions and other factors. Now, what would those other factors be? Somebody else is playing your game? And that came from TD. Because the rules are changing, people don't like that, technology investor Chamath Palihapitiya told CNBC. We are moving to a world where ordinary folk have the same access as professionals and can come to the same conclusion, or maybe the opposite. The solution is more transparency on the institutional side and not less access to retail. Exactly. Now, because everything is taken shape on Reddit, I imagine that is probably the last time we're going to be able to see that subreddit, because it'll probably get nuked in the next couple of days, because Reddit is, if not the biggest home of degeneracy, it is one of the biggest pro-censorship social media outlets that there is. That's another story for another day. I just love this story, and it's so big and it's changing all the time that hopefully we'll be able to cover it, and hopefully it turns out well for the people that are doing the short squeeze, because fuck Wall Street. They just wanted to supply all their money to Joe Biden and the Democrats in order to create the big oligarchic empire where them and their kind are just going to be at the table and everybody else is going to have nothing. And this is a great shot across the bow, showing them that they are not as powerful as they think they are. But yeah, that's just a 50,000 foot view. Like I said, I'm not by any means a financial expert, and I can't properly break all of this stuff down, but I know when I see a striking back and I can draw a couple of points together, I can give you guys some clarity. So next time you hear about people liking the stock, you'll at least be in the loop and you'll be able to follow it along. And we'll be doing the same. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.